What I'm doing here is getting 2 lots of chop strand matting ready to fiberglass inside the boat. So what I'm doing is chucking the 3rd piece of transom on top of the matting. I'm just ripping it out around the edges. It gives you like a feathered edge. It's a lot easier to blend the edges in. So basically I'll show you quickly what I'm doing. Chuck this on top of here. I'm going to try and line it up with the edges so there's less waste. Well, there's not really waste as such, because I can even use these bits. And then all I'm going to do, kneel on the board, around the edge, start it off, roll it, and it rips off then right at the edge, and it'll give you a perfect edge when you come to fiberglass it in. With the chop strand matting, if you have an hard edge, you'll see the hard edge, you'll just struggle with it. So it's easier if you get it fluffy, just like that. So what I'll do is go around the whole thing now and rip it out using this as a template. Doesn't take long either. As you can see. And you can get it pretty smack on, because it'll rip where it's resting under the board. Just like this. And that's done. What I'll do with this is rip it off and save it and use it somewhere else. But as you can see, we've got one there done, then we've got the other one done. Let's mix up some resin, coat the wood inside the boat as many times as it needs with resin, and we'll start getting this matting in. Shouldn't take too long. I didn't really want to use the roll. Got a big roll of chop strand there. I wanted to use the offcuts. Sky's going dark, it looks like it's going to rain. So I'm doing this to make it quicker. So yeah, there we go. That's the matting done. I'll get rid of the grass and then we'll put it in. I'm just out of shot. What I'm doing is mixing up some resin. I've mixed up 200 grams. So I've put 2 grams of catalyst into this. So like I was just saying, I've mixed up 200 grams of resin and I've put 2 grams of catalyst in. That's at a 1% ratio. This gives me more working time. So what you want to do now is give it a really good mix, like this. And around the edges, don't know if you can see, there's resin stuck there. Scrape around the edges to make sure there's no catalyst stuck around the edges or in the corners of the tub you're using. What you'll notice, what I've noticed with this resin, as it's clear, it changes colour. Say it's like a really light blue. Once you've mixed it well, it goes like a greeny colour. As it goes off, it can go like a browny colour, it changes. So it does make it a lot easier with the clear resin. I was using white. I found the white difficult with mixing because it don't look any different, and when you put it on and you're going over it with a consolidating roller, you can't actually see the bubbles in it very easily. So I've had to grind out some work I've done and redo it. With this stuff, you can see the bubbles. This is mixed enough now, I can tell by the colour of it. It's gone that weird greeny colour. Give it one more scrape around the edges. Why I'm rushing today, I'm worried about the weather. I think it's going to rain. The temperature's dropped a lot, you can feel the chill in the air. It's cloudy, and yeah, I want to try and get this transom done. I could get it finished today if the weather stays okay, but we'll have to just see what happens. So what I'm going to do now is give this transom a really good coat with this resin all over. Let it soak in. So what I'm going to do is start at the top, just like this, and work my way down, because it's going to run down anyway. So there's no point starting at the bottom and working up. It's not going to need many coats, to be honest. This is literally just a sealing barrier, that's all it's for. It's not really structural, nothing like that. It's just to literally seal it up. Just to make sure no water can get into it. What I'm going to do is give the top a good coat as well at this stage while I can. Just in case it does rain today. To be honest, I didn't really want to be messing with the top of it today. But if it does rain over the next few days, I don't want this exposed. So this is my chance now to just give it a quick covering. Let it soak into the top as well, and it's protected then. What I'm doing, I've got a little I know what it is. There was a bit of damaged fiberglass, so I've ground it out, so there's a little gap here and here. It's not very deep, but what I'm gonna do is just fill it up with resin. While I've got the resin, let it soak into it. This has now had 2 coats of resin, so it's still going to be quite tacky and damp. It's been about 20 minutes-ish, something like that. I've got the matting ready behind me, as you can see there. I've got 1 kilo of resin in the tub, 10 grams of catalyst ready to go in to mix it, and then a makeshift roller tray. We're going to get the matting on, roller it as fast as possible, and just get the matting on. Get 2 layers on, and then get ready to cover it just in case this rain comes. I'll go in, have breakfast. Once it's set and it's gone off, it'll still be a bit tacky because it's laminating resin. We are then going to go in with the 18mm and bond it in with the Gravical. I will be putting the 18mm ply in first, just to double check everything's good, see what brackets I need, see what clamps I need. It should go in pretty nice, this second one, because the board's flat, this is dead flat, so it should just squeeze in nicely. I don't really want to put in screws in from this way. I may do a few that way, so it pulls it into this piece. But I don't want to put in holes right through, if that makes sense. It is, all of this is being fiberglassed and it is all going to be filled. But still, I don't really want to be putting holes right through it. So yeah, I'll mix this resin now out of shot. I've got the camera on ready, because I don't have time to mess about with the camera when the resin's mixed. So I'm going to leave the camera rolling, edit this bit out after this, and then yeah, get in there, get it on. Just quickly, I'm hoping the battery doesn't die in the process of me mixing the resin and getting the matting on. If the battery does die, I am really sorry, there is nothing I can do about it. So I can't stop once I start mixing this because it'll just go off and it's a waste. So yeah, let's crack on. Well, here's the first piece going in. This has been torn exactly the shape of the transom, so just try and get it lined up, pressed into place, and smooth it out the best I can by hand. And then we'll be coming in right now with the resin. It's already mixed, so just trying to be quick as possible. Got a little bit too much over this side, a little bit less. That's it there. Perfect there. That's absolutely spot on. As you can see, I'm just trying to press it down. Thing is, I can't be too long now because the resin that's on the transom will start getting pulled out by the matting. I missed that, didn't I? As you can see, my makeshift roller tray is a seed tray lid. So, like I did before, start at the top, roller it all on, get it on there as fast as I can. This will go translucent when it soaks into it. But yeah, get it on. Be heavy with it, because I am putting a second matting on. As soon as this one's done, the second matting will go straight on top. So what we want to do is get it really soaked with resin. We'll use the consolidating roller on it, roller it all out, get all the bubbles out, then we'll go on with the second layer of matting. Basically, you don't want to go over it too much with the roller because you will start lifting it off. So get it soaked like we are here. Once you've got it soaked, stipple it if needed with the paintbrush, and also consolidating roller on it. I'm using a roller and tray just to get it on there a lot quicker. The brush takes too long in a big area like this, really. And the bits you can't reach in the corners, use the paintbrush. You'll see that was a kilo of resin. It's nearly took the lot already. It's crazy how much resin you go through. And it's not cheap either. Now I'm going to go over it again quickly with another coat for any areas that might be a bit dry. I'm not worried about oversaturating this. Like I said, there is another layer of matting going on top of it, so that will absorb a lot of it as well. But you want to try and get this as tidy as we can. I want as little work possible after sorting it all out. As you can see, I can't get to the corners with the roller. That's what the brush is for. Got the brush here. I'll do the corner you can't see first, and then I'll do the next corner there. As you can see across the top, I'm not trying to fold it over. I'm just making sure it's got plenty of resin there, because the top piece will be cut off again, like before. So yeah, that's used a kilo, believe it or not. I've literally got a few little dregs left in it. There's not a lot left there at all. And you can see at the corner what I want to do, like across the top there, look, give it a really good soaking and get it right into that corner. With a brush. And there's little fibres sticking out here. Don't miss them. Get them as well. It can be like the start of the tabbing in, I suppose. Yeah, I can't believe how much resin that's took. Again. It's a lot. But just make sure all your edges are good. In the early days when I first started doing it, I did neglect the edges, and they're just as important as the rest of it. It ends up giving you a headache and a lot more prep work when you miss them. Yeah, something I didn't say and didn't show on video, this was all acetone before I've gone over it with the matting, so don't miss that step, it's important. So give the top a good dab down. The top of the transom is going to be fiberglass separately in a strip, so I'm not too worried. I just want to make sure it's right up to the edge at the top. This looks good to me. So what I'm going to do is jump out, go and mix another kilo. Well, I need a kilo. Yeah, I probably will, won't I? Because the matting's absorbing it as well. Yeah, I'll just mix another kilo to be safe, and then we'll get the other piece in. Just gonna have a double check around the edges everywhere, and get on with the next piece. Use the big one first, and just basically go over it and get rid of any excess resin behind the matting. You don't want loads of pressure on this, so all you're going to do, if I put pressure on now and show you, you'll see the matting move. See that? I'm just pushing, I'm spreading the matting thin. That's not what you want. You just want to gently go over it and squeeze out any resin that might be stuck in the pockets of it. So I'm going to go over with the big roller now, like this. And then I'll grab my small roller and just go over it quickly with a small roller. This one you can get in smaller areas, tighter areas. Just like this, it's perfect for it. You can push the resin out the sides if there is any there, and get it nice and flat. If you leave air pockets, air voids, anything like that in it, eventually they'll fill up with water. How that happens I do not know, but they do, and then you end up getting your fiberglass laminating. It'll start to come away from whatever you've put it on. It looks like the resin will squeeze through the matting. It won't. This is why you need to roller it. Push it out the bottom and push it out the top. Obviously working down is easier because you've got gravity helping. So what I want to do is just go over this, make sure there's no air in it, and we'll get the second layer on. So I'm going to do now, run into the garage quickly, get my second layer, get my second batch mixed up, a kilo of resin in the bucket, and then mix it, come back out, stick that on, and then same process again. So there's no point me showing you the second layer, because you've just seen the first. I'm going to be doing it exactly the same. So that's how you fiberglass a transom like this, just like that. So yeah, mix up the resin, next little mat in, bang it in straight on top. Doesn't matter if it's not gone off, it'll be a chemical bond then basically. They'll form as one sheet. You can leave it to go off. With this, it's laminating resin, and as long as it's like today, tomorrow, within a day or so, you can go straight on top of it again without touching it. If it's not laminating resin, you are going to have to key the surface, give it a really, really good sand. There you go, I'm happy with that now. Just go around the top quickly, just to be sure it's all stuck around the top, which it has. I can see it from here. I can see all the top nicely. Yeah, it's stuck fine. So yeah, get the next layer in, go in, have breakfast, let it go off for a while, come out, and hopefully we'll be bonding in this 18 today. Fingers crossed. Technically the transom's done then. Right, gotta crack on, get mixing over there, and I'll bring you back when it's done. Well, as you can see, that's the last piece of 18mm bonded in. What I did on the fiberglass that you see me doing, I literally went over it quickly with a sander. There wasn't much to do. I just went around the edges and knocked off anything that was sticking out. I put this in test fitty, it went in perfectly flat, so there was no hassle there. So basically, I've mixed up the bonding paste. I acetoned the fiberglass side of the wood and the fiberglass itself, give it all a good acetone, got rid of all the dust and the crap. I put the bonding paste onto the wood and I've put it in. In the process of me pouring it in, I had a couple of issues. One issue, I've hit these pieces of wood in a bit too hard and it knocked the fiberglass off on that post, so it moved a touch. The second problem I had, there's one here, my G-clamp snapped. I was here cranking them up and obviously I've gone too tight and I've broke it. There's another part down there, and another broken one here. So I only had 2 G-clamps, so I panicked a bit because this gravicol goes off really quick. I didn't want to do it, I was trying to avoid it at all costs, but I had to put screws in, I didn't have a choice. I've banged quite a few screws in, but they've come right through. Like I've said loads of times, I'm not worried. I can fill these holes, and this side's being fiberglassed, and so's this side, and then over the top. It will all be totally sealed and totally fine. I just would have preferred not to have screws going right through, them sticking out this side here. But if I show you, they've not come through far. That's it, that's all they're coming through. You can see how big that screw is. The transom at the moment is 65mm thick. That's without fiberglass in this. Obviously I've got to fill around the edges, fiberglass it, tab it all in, and that's it. There's no point in really showing this part of the fiberglassing because it's the same as the rest. All I'm doing is bringing it around the sides. I'll see if there's anything that I think will help anybody, I will add it in. But yeah, that's it. All I need to do is cut off the top of the transom there to get it in line with the rest, and that's it for now. It'll be done. I'm not going to shape the transom at this point in time. I'd like to try and get the well back in and get everything together before I start shaping it. So basically just be to cut the top off, sand it all, resin it all, make sure it's watertight and make sure it's weatherproof basically. Then I'm going to move on to the keels and the floor. Inside will be fiberglassed in the keel 3, 4, 5 times with woven and chop strand matting. So then basically I'll do all the floor then. Give the floor 1 layer maybe 2 layers of cross strand. We'll see how that goes. And that's it. Then it'll be get the stringers in. Once the stringers are in and all fiberglassed in, flow coat everything inside. So that's completed. And once that's completed, I want to flip the boat upside down and I want to work on the hull, sand it all down, get rid of the keel band, sort the keel, fiberglass all the keel. Once that's done, hopefully, if I'm in the position to do it, spray the boat on the bottom and up the sides, wrap it all so it's protected. Once it's dried and released all its vapours and stuff, wrap it all in like a cling film, I suppose, not cling film, like a pallet wrap. Wrap it all so it's protected, flip the boat back over, then basically it's the decking, cuddy on, flybridge on, rebuild the boat, respray it all, job done. Sounds simple when you say it like that, but it's only roughly about a month's work. I've calculated it roughly. So I said 3 or 4 days on the transom. Today's day 3 and it's pretty much done. It'll probably be 2 or 3 hours now just to finish off. So if I carry on with that process, 3 to 4 days for each thing I'm doing, there ain't actually that much work. It's just doing it in blocks and getting it done. Anyway, I've waffled enough. I'm going to end the video here. I may put this part into the next video because I'm going to be tabbing it in and then doing the floor as well. So fiberglass in this part of the transom in, maybe in the next video. But that's the video, little lump of videos, the little series sort of thing on the transom. That's how you do it. And it's rock solid. Absolutely solid. It's not going to move anywhere. I reckon this would take more than a 100 horsepower engine if I wanted it to. Not sure the hull design would take it, but the transom itself is strong enough, so it's going to have no issues with the 90 horse on this now. I hope you've enjoyed the transom install. I hope you may have picked up a few tips. If you're enjoying the videos on the channel, please give the video a like. Please consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. I wasn't going to video this bit, but I thought I may as well just do it anyway, just to show you the process, finishing it off. It's a shame for you not to see it finished off. This layer is now in. You can see we've got the full thickness. I will bring it closer to show you. I will show you inside as well. There's quite a bit of prep to do now before I fiberglass this. I'll bring you in closer to show you these layers. Well, I've got it in quite close just so you can see. Obviously, this clear coat here is the original gel coat of the boat, the fiberglass and stuff. The white stuff is the 3 layers I've done, which is the chop strand, the roven, and then chop strand. 9mm ply. There's 2 clear layers of chop strand. Then you've got the 3 layers again on the back of the 18, which is the chop strand, roven and chop strand. Then you've got 2 clear, then the same again. You got the chop strand, roven, chop strand, then the 18mm. On the back of here, it's going to be chop strand. So I'll show you inside the boat quickly. Basically, I've just got to re-prep it to fiberglass this. Well, as you can see on the floor here, we've got lots of mess. I need to grind this back to about here. Get it all clean again, like this. Give it all a good acetone. Fill under this edge. Once that's filled, I can fiberglass this. So I'll soak this in resin as many times as it needs. Once it stops absorbing it, I'll be fiberglassing it. Maybe 2 or 3 layers of chop strand, and that'll be it. It'll be tabbed, the first one to about there, the second one there, third one there. Roughly, something like that. So that's it. You can see the thickness of it. This will also be fiberglass separately. Fiberglass will not go around corners there. So I need to fiberglass up to there, and I'll need to fiberglass to there basically. This is not finished yet, so that's not being fiberglassed yet. I'll coat this in resin just to protect it, weather protect it, and then I'll be doing the rest of the boat. Before the splash well goes in, this will be fiberglassed, the top of it all. Get it all nice, get it exactly the measurements I want. This side here is about 1.5, 2 mil higher than here, so this needs to be made flat, dead flat for the engine to go on, and get it the right height with a cavitation plate. I don't need to do that now, that can wait. I can get the rest of the boat done, and when I decide to come back to get the well ready, I can do this. I don't want to put the well in because I'm doing stringers and stuff down here, and I'm building a sump at the back. The well will just get in my way, so the well is probably going to be fitted, well, near the end of the build, to be honest. I want to get everything done, get all the decking, get everything finished. So anyway, what I'm going to do, fill all these little holes that you can see everywhere, fill the bottom, and we'll get on with it. The sun is blinding me a little bit. Everything is now ready to go. This edge, like I was showing you earlier, has been filleted, as they call it. So it's got a nice little curve on it. I've got all the matting behind me ready. I will show you now. But yeah, this is all ready to go. All I need to do, mix up the resin. I've got Mark helping me in a minute. He's just had to go and he's going to come back. But Mark's going to be passing me the matting, and I'm going to get Mark to mix the resin so I can just carry on slapping it in, sort of thing. But this, in a second. I'm going to coat it with resin. More than likely take 2 coats. Every other time it's been 2 I've done and it's been fine. But I'm going to coat this with resin, let it absorb as much as it wants, coat it again. And if it absorbs again, I'll coat it again. I'll keep coating it until this stops absorbing it. That's the important part to doing this sort of work on wood. Anyway, I'm going to coat it. Once it stops absorbing, I'm going to put on the first piece of matting, and then I'm basically going to roller it all, get the resin in here, consolidate it, next matting in, and the next matting in. I'm going to do 3 lots of chop strand matting. If you look at the marks here, right there, and I've also got the marks here, you can see there, I've done it on the same on that side. I'm starting off with a 3-inch tab, then I'm going to 6 inches, then I'm going to 9 inches, so it'll be tabbed a foot out. You don't have to go that far, no, but you know what I'm like. I'm doing everything a bit overkill, but you can see Transom's like a rock. But yeah, so you can see there, that's a 6-inch, that's the 9-inch, so it's nearly a foot out from the transom, which is more than enough. Then from there onwards, I'll be fiberglassing that, like that, all of it. I have got a repair to do here, so I don't want to do that today. I need to grind that out. I'll put some roving in there, mix it all up, and yeah, do a proper repair. So anyway, I'll show you the matting quickly, and then we're going to crack on. The key to this is everything needs to be ready. That's the key. Get everything ready and it'll go fine, it'll go smooth. Well, as you can see here, this is all the matting. You can see the difference in the size. That's the first, that's the second, that's the third. So what I've done on the corners, as you can see, they've been cut. All the edges have been ripped, so it's all frilly on all of it. The only parts I haven't is at the top of the transom, because that's going to be cut off with a multi-tool anyway. But yeah, this has all been cut, so when it goes in, it can bend round itself. It's literally totally ready to go in. So all I need to do now is get the tubs of resin ready, get it mixed ready, get the catalyst next to it ready, so you can tip the catalyst in, mix it away, and then you can bring it to me and I can roller it straight on. So yeah, that's it. That's all the matting going to go in. Let's get on with it, because we're starting to lose this light now. I want it done today. I'm not going to do all of it on camera, but I just want you to see that I am going through the proper steps. People may think when the camera's off I'm shortcutting steps. I'm definitely not doing that. I'd just be lying to myself. Basically what I'm doing now, like I explained just, coating the wood, let this absorb as much resin as it wants to absorb. What I have done off camera, this has all been acetoned, so has the whole entire boat. Luckily I've got an air gun so I can blow the dust out, which is what I did earlier. Blew all the dust out, acetoned it all, got it all nice and clean. So now I'm going to give this a really good heavy coat of resin and just let it draw in as much as it wants. Being marine ply, as I've said in the other videos, or in the other parts to do in the videos, it doesn't really absorb it. It's not hardly taking anything in, but you need to give it the chance to take it in. Luckily for me now, the sun's dropping and the shade makes it all a lot slower going off. It helps. I didn't realise, I'll be honest, I didn't know until I started doing this outside. The UV off the sun makes the resin go off insanely fast. I thought I was doing something wrong with the mixes. I even posted on Facebook asking what the hell am I doing wrong. It's not, I ain't doing anything wrong. It's literally the sun, the UV rays of the sun. So bear that in mind when you're doing it. If I left this in the garage in the shade, it would take ages to go off. Now I am coating the boat itself. No, I do not have to do that because it's not really going to soak into it, but it doesn't hurt to do it. I've drawn lines, as you can see, so that's going to be my 3-inch tab, just so I don't go too far with the resin and make a mess of myself. This is just going to help me when I come to put the matting on there. It'll help it stick a bit better. So as you can see, that's it. Well, I'm going to crack on with this and I'll do a time lapse on putting the fiberglass matting on. So that will end up being the end of the video because we are starting to lose light now. You can probably tell it's dropping a bit. So I do need to get my skating shoes on and get this job done quick. I want it finished. I'm going to leave the resin there out of the sun and it should be fine. Well, I'm going to give that now a good 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. Just to have a quick look. Looks like I've missed a bit there. I don't know if I have. Did I? No, don't look like I had. Yeah, I'm going to give that 10-15 minutes to soak in what it wants to soak in. I'll coat it again. If it looks the same, it's not drawn in, it's just sitting on the surface, I'll get the glass on there. But you'll get dry patches. I think there's one actually a little bit there. It'll basically absorb in areas and not all of it. So yeah, that's it. It's coated now. Let that sit for 10-15 and we'll crack on after that.
Make a life for myself. Make a life for myself.
Well, as you can see, the transom is complete. It's the next morning now. This is absolutely solid everywhere. It's absolutely brilliant. One tiny issue I found, if you remember, maybe you've seen it in the time lapse, I'm not sure, I cut this off. The reason why, it was about this tall, and when this got soaked in resin, it was falling over, but as it was coming over here, it was pushing this off. So I've chopped it off. I don't know if you can see it, it's very tiny. I look like I've got a small air void there. So I'll double check it. If that is an air void, I'll grind it out and I'll just re-glass this part here. I don't want voids in it. I've checked everything everywhere, in all the corners, just everything. There is no voids in there at all. Everything's spot on. I've checked all around here where it would be lightly. Down here, I've done extra thickness for when the bung goes in. But yeah, it's complete. That's the transom done. So now, the next video, more than likely, will be onto the deck. Well, the hull, not the deck. I'll be fiberglassing it all. Got a few repairs to do, which I need to reinforce from the inside. I'll probably be doing one layer of chop strand right through the whole hull, just to give it a bit of thickness back because of everything I've grinded out. I made it 2. I don't know, we'll see how I feel on it when I'm doing it. But yeah, so that's it. So I'm going to clear the boat out now, clean all the mess up, and basically do some grinding work, start acetoning, start doing the repairs, and that's it. That'll be the next job, the hull. So that's it. I hope you've enjoyed the transom build. It's complete. I can't wait to get this boat finished now, but yeah, trying to get it done properly. So yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.